It's time to eat some food today. We got 214 blessings and blessings made, which is wonderful. So, as you guys know, the endorphins are pumping through me because my guts are happy. I'll be eating as soon as this B1 digests. So, we're going to take one of them. So, we're going to, oh, geez, too many. So this is the first vitamin that depletes in your body when you're starving like I am on a hunger strike. We're on day 122. So we're going to take this ahead of time. Otherwise, bad things happen. That's the first thing I put in my mouth in 4.5, almost 5 days. We're about 4 3/4 days of no food on top of the 122 days of eating. I had 12 meals, 12 eating sessions in 122 days. So it's not a lot, but it's enough to keep me alive as I'm slowly putting pressure on the Supreme Court of Canada and also the judges who are in cahoots with these high-priced lawyers that all these very powerful people have hired. I can see why they can get off these cases. I was tortured in a hospital. It sounds weird. I know it sounds like, well, you can't be tortured in a hospital. You can. The nurses told me, just for your information, if you do go on hunger strikes or challenge the state in a powerful but peaceful way, then what they do is they treat you like a senior. And what the nurses told me was that when there's seniors in the hospitals and they don't want to take their pills, or they don't want to take food, or they don't want to do what the doctor says, they take these injections of this drug called olanzapine. It used to be called Zyprexa. And they would inject it into the seniors. And what it would cause is the seniors to spasm in these they look like gentle spasms because it makes your muscles like tremor like this, like little, not like a full-on seizure, just enough to make you torturously in pain. It's a crazy torture tactic. I can't even believe it. When it happened to me, I'm like, whatever, inject me, go ahead. I'm not taking no pills. And then they started doing it to me. I lasted 32 days, injected every night. And it lasts for 2 to 3 hours of that. It breaks you. It's a very incredibly clever way to torture people into what the doctors want you to do, and it needs to stop. I would freak out more. My emotions are very high, but if I show those kinds of emotions, the psychiatrist and anybody else and the lawyers and the doctors, there's a lot of people watching me right now because I'm suing them for $10 million. It's Canada's largest single plaintiff litigation case in Canadian history. And I got to the Supreme Court when the judge in the lower courts allowed them to bombard me for 600 days. 7 elite law firms, the best in Canada, hammering at me, a self-representing litigant where no lawyer wanted to take my case on because they knew that this stuff would happen. They knew that I would be abused in the courts and it would be too much work for their entire law firm. One lawyer was honest with me and said, Mark, can tell you're clearly rational and you were just on a hunger strike, which is protected by charter rights in Canada. He said, Mark, this case is bigger than my entire law firm. And they have a $5 billion, the defendants, the 53 government agents. I didn't sue anybody in the public or personally. I don't want to ruin anybody's life. I'm trying to change the government. And if you want to change the government, help me. Listen to my words. Don't follow the pathology. Don't follow any of the smearing that's going to happen to me. Because they know that if this case gets heard, I will win. They're trying to throw out the case before the merits of the case are heard. The merits are like what actually happened. So all these elite lawyers, they saw me write a 40-page brief of what happened systematically, 48 violations, one after the other in chronological order, that I wrote 3 years ago while my memory was still fresh of what exactly happened. Because they drag the cases out until you get fuzzy and you can't remember the court case. And then they trip you up on cross-examination and a bunch of stuff like that. So I wrote it all down. And I got all the medical notes and I scanned them. I did thousands of hours of work to change this torturous, it's literally creating mental illness. Our mental health system is literally creating it. And there are white papers out there saying that only 10% of cases actually are real mental illness. 90% are misdiagnoses. So these big pharmaceutical companies can torture you with this Zyprexa olanzapine drug, which turns out to be the #1 best-selling drug of this huge pharmaceutical company called Eli Lilly. And there's a guy named Jim Gottstein who wrote a book on it. I called the Zyprexa Papers, which I would recommend. And he didn't even want to take my case on, and he was an ex-Harvard lawyer. They disbarred him for trying to take these companies on in the mental health system. So he warned me, and that's why my case is still going, is I didn't make any of the foolish, naive mistakes that people make when they get in and have to self-represent. I'm not technically called a self-representing litigant. I'm called an unrepresented litigant, forced to self-represent. There's a difference there. Because I've applied to 200 law firms, criminal and civil, and I've learned a lot about law. Maybe that's the God-given divine purpose here, is that maybe I'm supposed to become, if I survive this hunger strike, I'm starting an organization called True Advocates under God's government, the One World Spirit, or actually, I guess we can't do it under One World Spirit. We'll have to do it under New World Spirit or Fair World Spirit, which are the political party and the international political organization. One World Spirit's the nonprofit, because we have to keep them legally distinct because of foreign interference, because we're an international movement, or trying to be. So I'm on this hunger strike for this cause, but also to address the mega crisis of cultural decline in freedom, trust, meaning, coordination, community, spirit, and love, and ultimately fragmented consciousness. And then that's exacerbating the more material polycrisis, which is AI, CRISPR, World War III, climate change, and mental health. So the solution to all of this seems pretty hopeless, but we do have a solution in proportion to the size of these 6 existential level threats that we can't outrun. And that's something called universal logic. It's outside of the box of normal solutions. All the normal solutions that the United Nations and everybody else is pursuing are not working. And everybody else is getting violent, right? Some guy hijacked a plane here in Canada and tried to disrupt airspace, and that's why I'm going on the hunger strikes, is as people give into that animalistic frustration of wanting to destroy the system, we want to sublate the system. That's a universal logical word. Oh, my arms are tired. I can't wait to eat. I'm so happy. Thank you to my blessers. For the flow roll blessings, we have Uswa, who is really one of the reasons why I'm still alive right now. You die at 66 days of hunger striking without meals. Nawaz, who's just this amazing guy in India who's helping out now. Sahan, who's talking to his Catholic priest about the proof of truth, where we show that the universal logic scientifically proves God's being, or that science itself is objective, which is a problem in science if you're an atheist. We solved the Munchausen trilemma if you're an atheist. It's incredible. Thank you, Sahan. Also for Marlena coming in. And she hasn't really done blessings yet, but she's holding on and trying to get herself into a good routine because she has depression. And it's part of the mental health crisis that we're trying to solve. And also Mavali, who's coming in and learning things from